And hello, everyone. My name is Mike, and today I'm joined by my co-host,
Mo.
And Kai.
So for the first movie, I chose Dekylan and the Bee from 2006. This movie stars Keke Palmer, Lawrence Fishburne, and Angela Bassett. But first, let's watch the trailer.
Welcome to the National Spelling Bee. Psalmody.
May I have a definition? Can I start over?
THPIREMYCIGRS.
That's correct.
JUMP.
Xanthosis.
Could I get some water, please?
So personally, this is one of my favorite childhood movies. I've watched this so many times because I used to have the DVD, just bored watching it every single time. And I really think it's just a really good movie to show personal growth and, how you can overcome adversity. Because Keke Palmer's character, Dekylan, of course, grew up in South Los Angeles, and she came from not a really good school, and she kind of was just made fun of because she was trying to get into the spelling bee and she didn't want to do it at first. But like I said, she overcame that fear and got course to the nationals. But do y'all think this is one of a movie that should be played in schools to show personal development?
Me personally, this is probably one of my favorite movies here. A good Keke Palmer classic. I mean, she's great now, but this right here really showcased her, and I felt like really put her on the map as far as acting goes. It was a great movie. I believe it's a good movie to show in school. Actually, I think my kids have watched it in school, so it's a great movie. I enjoyed it. Okay.
I mean, not only you got the famous Keke Palmer. I mean, every movie that she makes just about will be top number 1 tier. And we can't forget about Angela Bassett, of course.
Classic.
How can we forget about her? So, I mean, they really made the movie, especially like you said, it ain't about just overcoming, but it's also you having that special somebody that willing to push you or take you further. A little extra help or a little extra boost will help a lot. So,
if I remember right, that was Lawrence Fishburne, right?
Yeah, Dr.
And he's a classic actor. I mean, he's made countless of films. I mean, just in general, as a person of color, I think this was a great movie to show adversity and overcoming that. I really enjoyed this. It's a great movie to watch when you're going back to school. But I also think it's a great movie because we are in Black History Month, so it was a good casting, and I can see why you picked this movie to bring us back in for the new season.
I think Dr. Larrabee's or Lawrence Fishburne's character definitely does a good job as a role model for Dekylan because he had the same, he has the same ambitions, and he, of course, I don't want to spoil a lot of it, but he did have a daughter that used to do the same thing. It was just a little bit younger than Dekylan, and he saw that in her, so he wanted to push her to be the best that she could.
Right.
So I wanted to add on to that fact. It's actually really, I find it really fascinating because they actually during the trailer, the actual movie, it really push you, not just push you, but it's how best way I can say this. It's one of them, reminds you of them old teachers that you used to have, and it can be elementary, middle, or high school that, that pushed you, that even though you didn't like it, it can be even a sports coach that even pushed you further. Everybody had that one person that liked to push you further than where you are.
Yeah. Did you have a mentor?
That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Personally, I did. My theater arts teacher, Miss Archuleta, she's honestly the reason why I started doing, broadcasting and stuff, just because I was a very socially awkward kind of type of dude. But once I did theater, I started branching out. So I think mentors do a very good job of opening people up and making showing them that they can do the things that you put your mind to.
So did you have a mentor?
I did. So I had one in high school, and it was an English teacher, and she was amazing, Miss Ratchkis. Shout out to her. She really inspired me. Even now, she sometimes corrects me with my grammar. So shout out to her. And then my for video production and sound production, my mentor Fred Hawley. He has really led me and pushed me in a way so that I can improve in the field that I am and in my career. So every day it's me getting better and me trying to work better because he pushes me to do that. So. And
well, me, my high school had to be my basketball coach. His name is Breon Bursey. Shout out. And he used to always, me and him always had argued. You know how Dekylan and the B, they had always went back and forth. And I did the same way. So me and him, we always argued. He always argued with me about something. And then, he'll look back and he'd be like, okay, I was wrong. Or okay, bro, you were wrong. And, he taught me about my rights and wrongs and, what I, stand on what you believe. And college, it's a lot of people. But the person who stood out for me the most had to be Greg Singleton. He actually, wouldn't be where I'm at today or wouldn't even be thinking about broadcasting or music. So shout out to him too.
Well, just on the topic of, people pushing you forward, how do you think the, community affects people too? Because in the movie, there was a scene where she was trying to study all the words for nationals and she was out with people and while they were helping her.
I think community plays a big role, especially in the field that we're in, where, we're comms majors, specifically broadcasting. We've created a community, so we kind of hold each other accountable when we have something. I know that if I'm going to miss class one day, you guys are hitting me up where you at? What's going on? So, I think it's good to have a community around you, especially a community that's like-minded. I know that we're all close to each other. We've all hung out with each other, even our people in the back. Shout out to Clark and Ray Sean and Q and just everybody in the back that is in the background. We are close, and I think that's great and that helps push us forward to our goals.
Well, I want to add on to that, and not just the people in broadcasting, it's also the people that you grew up with and the people you was raised on, because it takes a village to raise a child, as I was taught. So the community have your back, and then you got friends, family to support you and stuff like that. I mean, that's all motivation that you need, because it takes a village to raise a child to just have your back.
Yeah, especially people trying to bring you up. But just to wrap it up, what do you guys rate the movie?
I say an 8. Really, I mean, it's a solid movie. Solid movie.
I'm a Keith Palmer fan, so I'm gonna say 9. I'm gonna say 9.
Mike?
Well, like I said, this is a childhood classic of mine, so I'm gonna have to give it a 10.
All right, sweet. All right, well, I guess we're going into the next movie, and the movie I chose was a classic, Billy Madison from 1995. The movie stars Adam Sandler, Bridget Wilson, and Norm Macdonald. All right, let's watch the trailer.
I'll do each grade in 2 weeks, take the test, re-graduate, prove to you I'm not an idiot, and then I get to take over Madison Hotel.
You pass every grade before June 15th. You take over instead of Eric.
Don't you think it's a little pathetic that just because of who your father is, you get to come to school all over again?
Yes, I do.
I want you all to meet our new friend, Billy. Can everyone say hello to Billy?
Hello, Billy.
All right, so this one's a classic for me. I usually come in with the old school movies because I'm a little bit older, but I enjoyed this movie. I remember watching it when I was younger. When it came out, I was 5 years old. It's about Billy Madison, rich kid, kind of never had any responsibilities. His dad owns a business, and he's wanting to take over the business, give his business out to his son, but his son's not responsible. So he tells his son, listen, go back to school, graduate kindergarten through 12th grade in this amount of time, and I will give you the company. And Billy Madison takes on the challenge. And I tell you what, throughout this whole film, I'm cracking up. He goes all the way back to kindergarten, and you know, some rich kid in with kindergartners, and he's learning life lessons along the way. And it's just a great movie. I enjoyed it. It's funny, and I definitely would recommend it. What do you guys think about it?
I think it was a very lighthearted comedy. It's very funny just to see a grown man with just laying crisscross applesauce with a bunch of kindergartners. But I feel like most of the movies, like Back to School, definitely does have like a personal growth aspect to it, just because, like you said, he does learn life lessons towards it. So
yeah. I mean, his dad wasn't expecting him to finish. I mean, he thought he was going to fail. And Billy Madison, he really came out and he put in the work. And to be honest with you, if this isn't the prime example of any college student right now where, man, it feels like you're going to fail, but you're going to put in the work, and you know what, you may barely make it out, but you're going to make it, So I thought this was a good movie to relate to, just us as college students.
And I'm not even going to say college students. I'm going to go ahead and say, like, every school in general. Because, like, if you're dealing with elementary, junior high and high school, it can be challenging too. I'm not finna just act like it just like the main thing is college, because you gotta worry about other schools too. Because other schools, man, it's just like.
Yeah, I mean, I remember being in elementary school, struggling with those ABCs a little bit. So,
not taking that nap time. Yeah, that was the best time right there.
Listen, if I could go back and get a nap time in, actually, I think they did do a nap time in the movie. If I could go back and get a nap time in, I would appreciate that. But here we are in college, struggling to stay awake, writing papers.
4th grade, it was the worst for me because I had algebra and geometry. I was like, I'm in 4th grade.
So I enjoyed this movie. Definitely was a classic in my mind. If I'm thinking of a back to school movie, this is going to be it. Adam Sandler, Norm Macdonald, who had passed away just not too long ago, actually.
Yeah.
Classic actor right there. And yeah, I enjoyed it. What did you guys think as far as overall?
I thought it was very funny. I liked Miss Veronica's character.
Yeah.
Just because, out of a grown man being in kindergarten or 3rd grade, actually gives it like a resemblance, like, why are you here? And then for them to, fall in love and start getting closer to each other. It's kind of like, cliche, but, it definitely does its own way of doing that.
Yeah. Watching these movies, too, I mean, even the older Adam Sandler movies, I feel like they're just in tier with what he has been as an actor. Just that goofiness that he has.
You took this right out of my
right,
mouth.
Just being funny himself. I love how he brings in his friends, to come into his movies. All of his movies include his friends. Probably one of my favorite scenes is when he graduates one of the grades, and they have a big carnival party for him. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I remember watching this and just thinking it was so funny that you got this grown man in here trying to finish all these grades. So, and if only it was that easy, right?
Yeah.
What you said.
So,
but me, I'm always an Adam Sandler fan. I'm just that guy. So I do like the overall. I like the beginning, the plot twist. The ending too. And he goes through these trials and tribulations that he go through. And during the whole school, the college, and that refers to college and all them. So I feel like the overall was nice.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's go ahead and rate this movie now. What would you rate it, Mike?
I'd say probably like an 8. Like I said, it's a very, very lighthearted comedy. So if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend.
Kai?
I have to give this I'll give this a 9 because I liked everything that was in it. It was a little bit. I want to dial it down to a 7, but I'm gonna say 9 because Adam Sandler. So.
You know what? I love the movie. It's classic. I wouldn't rate it a 10. It's not one of his best movies, but like I said, it's a classic. So I'm gonna stick at an 8 for it. And yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope you guys get to watch it. And next, we're gonna have Kai come up and introduce his movie.
Alrighty, the movie that I'll be taking is Night School from 2018. The movie star Kevin Hart, Tiffany Haddish, and Taron Killam. Let's play the trailer.
Can't you give me a job?
I wish I could. My bosses won't let me hire a dropout.
Look at Mark Zuckerberg.
He dropped out of Harvard. You dropped out of Piedmont High.
I was a couple credits shy of graduating. I gotta get my GED.
I'm the principal of this school. I can do whatever I want. You're in my house.
Are you using a black voice?
No, I don't hear color.
All right, let's do some introductions. My name is Carrie. I'm here to make a little extra cash so that I can afford this warrant that I got. But that's none of y'all business. Welcome to Night School.
So the movie is about Kevin Hart character, Teddy Walker, who go through his trials and tribulations that any other person have. He's dyslexic and have any other disabilities that, have a hard time learning. So Tiffany Haddish, as one of the teachers, had found a different approach into like having him to learn, and it's very hilarious. This movie right here, it really describes like, anything is possible. Mm-hmm. Anything is literally possible. Yeah. So
I think it does. I think it does give light to learning disabilities too, because that's what some people actually deal with in their day-to-day life. So it does a good way of like lightheartedly poking at that and how you can overcome that as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. It was a comedy. I mean, who doesn't like Kevin Hart, right? Tiffany Haddish was hilarious in it. You're talking about a guy who just has learning disability, and not to make fun of that, but he's just struggling to get his degree. He wants his GED, and so Tiffany Haddish's character, she just comes in and she realizes that. She realized, he has a problem with numbers and he has a problem with letters and stuff like that. So just learning a different way to go about it. And to be honest with you, a lot of times, sometimes we got to do that as students. Is we got to learn something a different way.
Well, I ain't gonna say just like students, because like professors, they got to find like they got to learn something from this movie, because there's a lot of people that can't study the way everybody else can.
Oh, yeah. Just straight textbook.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, like for me personally, I can get the work and see the answer, go find the answer, not even look at a textbook and pass the class. I don't know if that works for you guys. I know some people have to read the whole book.
During the midst of me reading the book, I'm already asleep.
I'm not a read the whole book type of person, but some people are. Some people like to listen to music.
Yes.
I have a hard time. Sometimes I can't listen to music while I'm actually working.
I love it.
Yeah, no, I can't focus in on one thing, so it's kind of hard for me to get work done. I need to focus on one thing and then get it done, and then boom, I can move on. I don't know, what about you? You got a certain studying style?
I do listen to music. I put in my AirPods and just jam out while I do some homework. I feel like, everyone definitely does have their own learning curves and, what works best for them. So if you can, try to find what best works for you, because, it's you that you're affecting if you don't, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of questions on y'all for this. So like, what are like the whole overall movie? Like, what can you get into learning, like, about this movie? Like, what all, besides like the learning techniques and stuff like that, like, what can you like basically not just get out of it, but like, what are lessons that you can learn from?
If you have your mind to something, then you can definitely achieve it. At first, he was working at a barbecue salesman.
Yeah, he was a salesman.
He blew it up. So I feel like if you definitely have a vision in your mind, and if you stick to it, you can achieve it.
But the part that gets me, I'm not finna shout out any spoilers or nothing, but like the part that got me was, it was like when everybody was struggling, like everybody was like, forget it, we're gonna have to cheat. Like, you
They
know,
tried to steal the
like,
SAT.
that was the part that got me. I ain't even gonna just say all the spoilers, but that was the one thing that grabbed my mind.
Yeah.
Like, that sounded like everybody else. Like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I ain't gonna say that most people do it. Like, everybody just do it. But I'm gonna say that, like, you know, we just use different resources, as we like to say.
You know, I can't lie. You know, I've had a couple times where I've tried to cheat on an exam and definitely did not work in my favor.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, you know, it's a very lighthearted way just to show like you can't cheat everything out, because, like I said, not trying to give any spoilers, but he owned up to trying to take the SAT, and almost the whole class got kicked out of the night school just because of his actions.
But, and this another thing that part me when he just gave up, and Tiffany Haddish just like didn't want him to give up. Like, you know, there's some, like I said, like back to y'all movies, like it's something similar about these movies. You always got that one person that's gonna push and drive you. You know, in her case it was a belt. So like it was like, you know, it was like one thing that's like, it is what it is. So how do y'all feel on a couple of them parts?
Well, for me personally, I thought the coolest thing about the movie was that she didn't give up, and then when he did succeed, she was there congratulating him. You know, that's something special. You know, when you have a mentor and you know you can be proud of what you've done, and then your mentor's there, and you know can make that happen. Me personally, I thought that was probably one of my favorite parts of the movies. Well, that and him blowing up the barbecue spot. You know, so
that's gonna be the main topic.
Yeah,
now, blowing up the barbecue shop.
Yeah. But, you know, he succeeded, and at the end of the day, you know, he made that happen, and she was there, and she, you know, I know for me, I have had to, there's some things that I'm not great at. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of 10s and 2s. Yeah. I'm a 10 in one area, 2 in another.
Yes.
Not saying that I couldn't do it. It's just not my hot spot. And
everybody got the little, you know, the little weak spot.
Yeah, you know, so math being one of mine. I am not great at math at all. Do you have a certain subject you're not good at?
I'd probably say, math. I'm probably the best at like science and, you know, writing, but when it comes to algebra and I can't even say it.
The Pythagorean theorem.
Okay,
y'all.
Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem. See, sometimes I have a hard time actually saying the word. Maybe that's my problem. I don't know. But yeah, you know, I when I'm at a 2 and I have a mentor or somebody that is sitting there rooting for me, and I do something great, I'm gonna look off into the distance and I can see them and they're just as proud of me as I am of myself. I think that's a great feeling, and I think like Kevin Hart really felt that, and there was a friendship, a bond that happened from that, you know.
Yeah. See, math was like my best suit. I ain't finna just say my strongest, because you know you got geometry and all them. So like I wasn't great at that, and I also wasn't great at geology. As everybody else know, like I was terrible. I'm terrible at geology. If y'all put rocks right there in front of me and try to tell me to know, I'm not going to know none of them. So, you know, everybody got their little strong suits, and everybody got their, you know, suits that they're not best at, and I understand that. But like, that still don't give you a reason to stop doing what you love to do. Right. Like broadcasting is ours, and you know, shout out to all the people that's doing broadcasting and, you know, music and nursing. I'm gonna be honest with you, nursing, I salute to them, because I cannot do it.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Especially all that, and then just to have to go to med school too. It's just like, I wanna get my bachelor's and be done with school.
Yeah.
For them to have to
continue, yeah. Yeah, but I absolutely agree with you. Like, you know, there's a lot of work that gets put into when you're going to school. Like, there's a lot that you have to think about. There's a lot of time that's put into school. And I mean, even just this movie was like a little prelude of like, man, the time and effort that you put in just so you can pass a test, you know. I mean, it's a lot of work. So kudos to all of us students out here that are making it happen every single day. Back to school, man. We are in it. We're in our fourth week of school. And man, listen, if Kevin Hart, Billy Madison, and Kilo the Bee can do it, guess what? We can all do it too, right? So especially
during my movie Night School. Night School, like, he literally tried and kept going with the test. And that right there is already like, you know, kudos. Because, like, you know, most people give up on the third or fourth try and be like, this ain't for me. Well, unfortunately, you know, now since we're at the end, what did y'all rate this movie as?
Oh, man. It was hilarious. I noticed that we picked comedies. He picked a little bit more of a serious movie.
You did.
And I would rate this probably an 8 also. I think I'm running 8s all across the board.
Okay.
I agree with that. I give it an 8. There were some times, you know, it's kind of like lackluster just because, you know, I personally feel like Kevin Hart can get like a little repetitive, but all around it was a really good movie.
Okay, well, I have to give it a 9 because, you know, I'm giving it a 9 because the way Tiffany Haddish played, I mean, hilarious. Kevin Hart, hilarious. And everybody else giving kudos to them, like, they're hilarious. I couldn't even, like, stop laughing at this movie.
I think it was hilarious.
Yeah, give them their flowers.
Yeah.
But, hey, thanks again for watching this episode of The Verdict. We're looking forward to this new season. But for next week, we'll be celebrating Valentine's Day by looking at our favorite romance films. But until then, we'll see you then.